welcome back to the Green Series podcast. This is episode 50. All right.
We're pretending like we're clapping.
Oh, I don't know why you're doing that, but
because we're dumb.
Like I was saying, welcome back to the Green Series podcast. This is episode 59, a patron-sponsored episode. And we just so happen to have a patron with us in the studio today, Mr. Mike Lydon. Say hello.
That's you, Mike.
Oh, hi.
He's a natural.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're trying something new with the Green Series podcast. Every patron sponsored episode, which is usually the 9 number or the one before our community episodes, we're going to try to get patrons to come be a guest with us on the episodes. But before we get into everything else, Jason, would you like to tell the good listeners about the giveaway for October?
I would love to, Ben. Thank you for asking. This month's giveaway is matter of fact, I'm on a different end of my assembly table today.
Ooh.
So I can show it for all of our listeners. The TSO products, GRS16PE guide rail square. And that is open to all 50 states. And to enter, all you have to do is go to greensuiterspodcast.com, fill out the entry form for your chance to win. Huge thank you to TSO products.
And it doesn't have to be just T-Track owners. If you own the Craig, they can accommodate, correct, Jason?
I believe so, yes, because they have a separate one for the Craig. So I think if you are a Craig person and you win it, then yes, we could get you the Craig one.
So
what if you're like a Jeff person or a Frank person?
Yeah.
Does your name have to be Craig?
Yeah.
It has to be Craig.
Does it have to be spelled with a K?
Yeah, it does.
Oh.
Some guy there named Greg's like, yeah,
I win.
I won. I got it in my pocket.
Jason, did you know that they're one of our oldest sponsors? Pick this back up again. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank White Claw for sponsoring this episode.
Oh, White Claw. Man, it's been a while.
Claw.
Is that watermelon?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Consumed
Or is
by
it like
women all
mango
over the
passion?
world.
Oh, watermelon. Ben, you are really overdoing it tonight.
My God.
Get 3 or 4 of those in your system and Jen might take advantage of you.
My God. When you go to the bathroom, you're gonna have to sit down to pee.
Yeah. Have you sliding
time.
right out of your panties, Ben.
Every time, let me tell you.
Hopefully you don't have too much White Claw on your wedding night.
Wow.
Dress will come off real easy.
Yeah, man.
Sorry.
Wait, we digress.
Are you
quick on
done?
that.
Are you done with the giveaway talk?
Yes. Thank you so much, TSO Products, for being our giveaway sponsor for the month of October.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll be using them again in the future for sure, but somebody's going to win a nice guide rail square.
Great giveaway. What have you guys been up to this week? Jason, we'll go with you first since you like to talk the most.
I thought we were going to go with Mike because he's a guest.
Yeah.
I think Mike should go last.
Okay, fine.
That way he has the floor.
Mike, you have about 45 minutes before you're up. So if you want to, go get a massage, eat dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go put Connor to bed first. You might be done by the time I'm done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Jason will probably
Right.
talk about drywall for about
I was just going to
40
say
of it.
drywall. Let's get into it. No.
He's moving. He's moving.
No way.
Yeah, I got a big announcement, everybody. I'm moving. I mean, it has been like, 5 months?
About time.
I mean, the shop's
Yeah, it's
complete.
about time to
so
start
it's-
looking.
It's time to move.
It's about time to
move.
start looking at least. Yeah, I finally actually started to build something in my shop, so it's time to move. No, I got the tabletop glued up. All of my stuff is actually sitting on it right now. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Tomorrow I'll be getting it out of the clamps and getting it to its final size and start all the finish work on that. And hope that the base will be here soon. But
All about the base.
all about that base. No trouble.
No trouble. No trouble.
So I can talk about it now because by the time that this podcast comes out, it'll already be released. But so last week, I basically had to drop like everything that I was doing in order to help out matter of fact, our sponsor for the giveaway, which is TSO Products. Most people know that I've been working with TSO for a long time. They're a company that I absolutely love. I love their products. And they needed some help due to recent events, mainly down in Florida. And they have a new product coming out on the 14th. And I made the launch video for it. I made the product overview highlight video that they will be releasing on the 14th.
Dildos?
No, that's a different company that I'm involved in, but I don't talk about it on my Instagram page, Ben. But no, yeah, great. Wow, you really derailed it there.
You're being so secretive. I had to let the listeners know what you were really doing.
Well, no, I mean, the product literally is it's gonna get announced in 2 days. So like, it's really cool. I wanted to highlight more the fact about doing the video. So this is something that I've had in the back of my mind as something that I would like to do. Is go ahead.
Wait, this is going to come out 2 days from the time this comes out, or 2 days from today?
2 days from today,
as we're recording.
Yeah.
So you could talk about it now.
I know it's the new MTR-X.
What is that?
So
X.
you know the MTR-18 triangle?
Oh, the big one?
Yeah. It is a smaller, more compact version of that will actually fit into a sustainer. And it has a lot of this. It basically has the majority of the same uses. But the MTR is something that I've always wanted to do content on, but I never did because I wanted to make sure that I truly understood everything. And so I was looking for really good content that explains that. And there's not a lot of content out there that does explain it. Little snippets here and there. But then this new MTR-X was coming out. They brought me a copy of it, or they brought me one of them. And then I really just got an opportunity to mess with it, see some of the product photos, and just spend a lot of time with it in my hands, which is fantastic because you know how you learn things, you use it. And so I did that. And the way that I went through this process was very interesting because, there's obviously certain key things that they wanted me to highlight. But the way that I did this is different than other videos that I've done for companies in the sense that the other videos, it was a lot of creative freedom for me to kind of create the content the way that I saw fit. This one was a little bit different, and it was scripted. It was a lot of back and forth. It was a very good experience, very easy experience, and it was just interesting. And I actually really, really, really enjoyed the process. And so, granted, moving forward, if I knew that I was going to be doing this thing for this time, it would obviously make it a lot easier. But I really enjoyed it, and this is always something that I've kind of wanted to branch out into in my business, because I do think that there are certain companies that lack. I'm not talking about TSO specifically. I'm talking about another company that I have in my shop that lack instructional content on. Right.
Yeah,
I'll just say it. The joiner planer combo. Right.
Yeah.
When I was looking for content, the only stuff I could find that was from the company is years and years and years old. And it's very hard to follow. It's very hard to understand, which is why I made the video of the assembly. So I would love to do that. I would love to offer my services on a larger scale. And so this time I got to do what I think that would actually be. Because I don't think most companies would let me just, go with my creative freedom and do this. Like, it's their marketing, stuff. But it was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. So that's what I was doing. That's why I was being super secretive about it, because obviously I couldn't talk about it. But it was fun, and it's an awesome product. Like, I think it's gonna. I realized a bunch of different ways that I could use this thing that I never thought before, and that also translates to the MTR-18. So the larger one, but it's a really cool item. And I was happy to be a part of it.
Wow. I can't wait. I might watch one of your videos.
Yeah. Nice. Right.
Mm.
Well, that video won't be on my channel. that video is, it's for them, right? It's their
cool.
video.
Are they going to release it in a couple of days when that gets released?
Mm-hmm.
Way cool.
Yep. You'll see it here in the next couple of days. So
Hmm.
really cool. I liked it. It was a fun process. It's a little bit different. The delivery was different. It's interesting to do something like that. So I'm glad that I got to do it, and I hope to do it again. Honestly, like quite a few more times, to be honest with you.
Nah, don't
What
be
about
honest.
you?
Just lie to us.
No, yeah. I mean, I usually do. Ben, you're a great woodworker. See, I did it there. Ben,
Just rolls off the tongue, you know.
yeah. Ben,
So
what have you
good.
been up to, my good friend that I love?
I shot some. Well, I shoot motorcycle videos every day, but I released one earlier this week. I took my street electric motorcycle off road for the first time up the steepest peak in Virginia. I rode it about 200 miles southwest, close to the Tennessee border, and I just wanted to go camping. That's all I wanted to do. And I was like, well, they've got a couple motorcycle trails up there. I'll try it out. And I got to a certain point and I was like, this is a little dangerous. Turned it around. But so went camping because just like how with y'all, the weather's finally starting to cool down. Nice fall weather. Chilly in the mornings, so really great for camping. And that's pretty much it. Wedding stuff, house stuff, traveling. I'm tired. I'm always tired. But what about you, Mr. Sedgley?
Well, I had a killer weekend.
You
We
watched
shot some
Dahmer?
we shot video, but I went down to the Ben's house. I think that was I think that was Sunday, and I hung out with Jason and Leo and Max and Nicole and Marianne. But there was a gentleman there. His name was Jevin. And if you don't follow him, it's at Cheney Concepts. He is just such a wicked nice guy. And we just
He's
hung
all right.
out and watched a little football, right? And the brisket that he brought, this guy can cook, he can smoke. Like, that's the same guy that we had up at Michelle and what's his name?
It
Patrick's
doesn't
house.
matter. Michelle's.
Yeah. Mousepad's house. And Jevin, I'm shouting you out because I know you're a patron and you're a rock star, dude. Had a great time. Thank you. That brisket was killer, and just hanging out and chilling with you was awesome. So that was Sunday. I'm not going to go through my whole week, but Mike and I were talking right before we started the podcast, and I had Wes Lewis from James Wesley Furniture on.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't follow him, he is a must follow. I
Well,
think we called him out before, haven't we?
We have, but we need to preface this by saying if you want to feel like you're a terrible woodworker, then you can go follow him.
Yeah.
He makes some really,
Yes.
some really great
But
stuff.
know that he's in the Air Force, so you'll immediately feel better about yourself.
Exactly.
And he's just a gentleman. That's the best way I could describe him, and a phenomenal craftsman. And I interviewed him today on Instagram, but it'll be on the Festival Shop Talk podcast on Apple and Spotify. So I've had a wicked busy week. Been doing a lot of training at work internally, working with a few things that won't come out till probably 2025.
Holy crap.
I have been blown away. There's no way in hell I can ever retire. I heard stuff today that I go, what? And oh my God, I think I have to stay for my employee discount because I'm going to go freaking broke on that. It's like unbelievable. Hey, I got to check something, Ambassador, because you're going to be with us, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
First week
Hey,
in November.
in a couple of weeks.
I got to check. I don't think you get employee discount.
What a bummer.
I got to check.
Luckily,
with
I'm not
that.
in the market. I'm not in the
On the
market for
coffee
anything
van.
right now.
Dude, you should see.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So on I'm getting ready for Ireland. Mike, I know you just got back, brother. I can't wait to go. I'm pretty stoked about that. And I am having an upcoming episode with Shaper, and I was on the phone with Russ and Jake. We got some really cool stuff planned for a Festool Live. I did Shaper sessions with them, but I'm also going to do a Festool Live with them. I think we're slated for December 2nd on that one.
Man, I totally forgot to say it in my part. The Shaper plate, dude. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to feature it.
So cool. So cool.
Yeah, those guys are, and they're so cool too.
They
I
are.
mean, just even their IT tech guys are wicked cool. Goose is great. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And I get the boys coming over for 2 days this weekend to shoot some videos. So we have a lot in the tank for when I'm away for Ireland. And we're getting up to speed and we're producing quite a bit. We're going to start building some really cool stuff on Sedge Tool channel. And I'm stoked about that. I kind of wowed them a little. Upcoming video. I did it. I've been wanting to do this forever, and I got some great feedback on it. Because it's a one we released this past weekend on tensioning in a bandsaw blade, and there's so many different ways of doing it, and I've done it. And if you watch the video, some guy up in Maine at the Center of Furniture Design, he's an instructor, designed easy tension. And it is a no-brainer way to tension a blade, and it's pretty daggone innovative and smart. So that's what I've been up to. Just been having a time of my life in the shop, building out my sys wall at home. Did 4 more cabinets. Jason, you haven't been over the house in forever. You're coming up on Saturday, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. You haven't been. Wow, it's been. Well, duh, you had a kid, right?
Did I?
Yeah, he did. And by the way, he's adorable. He, you know, the only problem
crying
is
in the middle of the night is
he looks a little like you.
Oh, he looks a lot like me.
Like a mini.
We were getting passports. I was getting my passport renewed today, and we were getting Max, 8 weeks old, his passport. So his passport's going to have his 8-week old photo, but it was just adorable. But my wife, like, there's a way bigger resemblance between me and Max than there was between me and Leo. Leo definitely takes after his mother. Max definitely takes after me.
Yeah. It was just great hanging out at the house this weekend with you guys. It's fun. Okay. That's what I've been up to. Now I'm going to ask Mike 2 things. What have you been up to? But why don't you introduce the audience to you, about you, and tell us who you are.
Oh man, that could be deep. So
I doubt it.
it's Mike Lydon. I live in Boston. I started in the carpentry side of the house. So both my parents were from Ireland, and my dad has been a carpenter his entire life. And so he had me swinging a hammer, probably 5, 6, 7 years old, and working 40-hour work weeks at like 16. So I got a real basis, frame to finish on building construction and how buildings operate. And Norm Abram kind of, this whole house gang kind of really sunk me into like wanting to have a shop of my own. And with my current job, I work on the fire department in Boston, and working the side job that I had going, the tax guy was like, "What are you doing? Like, you can't be working the side job, getting taxed at this rate." So he was like, "You should just start your own business." I sat down with the missus, and I kind of just started putting stuff together. Like, I started making cutting boards and just different things, gluing stuff together and figuring it out. And I just kind of went off on my own and just started doing built-ins and furniture, different things that I could create in my basement, which obviously now has grown like exponentially. Been following, this podcast and you guys specifically since, prior to the Green Suiters podcast even existing. But it's just been one of those things where the fire department schedule, so it's 8 days a month, 8 24s a month, which leaves the rest of my week to myself down in the shop, building things, getting things going, doing different projects. I can get more into kind of like who I am as a person and like what led me into, that kind of stuff maybe a little later on in the episode. But my plan for this weekend was I was going to try to go to Maker Camp, because that's only probably a 3.5 hour ride. Ed Mancini actually stopped by the firehouse the other day.
Yeah, he told me that
when I was at work, and I shot the breeze with him for a little bit. But we're like huge campers, right? We live in the city. I can't let my son go out. Like I see the videos of Jason letting Leo out in the backyard. I'm like, that would be great. But I live on a super busy street, and like I can't just let an 8-year-old roam the street. So we go camping every weekend. It's like an hour away. It's in the woods, and it's wrapping up. It's getting towards the end of the season. Didn't want to start World War III.
That's what you were referencing when I asked.
yeah. So it was a better decision just to stay home, stay with the family this weekend. And then over this week, again, like I've been in the Army now for going on 20 years, over 20 years. One of my guys is PCSing. One of my active guys is PCSing this week. So I've been building we took some handcuffs and embroidered his name onto them and did that. So I took a piece of flat stock cherry, milled it all down. It's like a little handcuff shadow box, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that all sanded up today and it's ready for finish, and that's kind of that.
Now, are you doing? Are you still doing a lot of built-ins? Are you still doing any custom work, or is it just kind of like one-off kind of pieces like you're doing for your PCS award?
So it's a mix. I will do, Christmas is coming up. My wife and all of my friends like, oh, would you make me a cutting board? And so like, they want the charcuterie boards and the cutting boards. And like,
can you clip that out?
Can you do that? Yeah, that'll be good on Instagram.
I'm just gonna do the little
that
thing
should be good. That would be a good reel. Oh, would you make me a cutting board?
So I'll make those things just with like scraps, dead stuff down in the shop. But like tomorrow morning, after I drop Connor off at school, I got a meeting with a guy to go look at a built-in to put into his house. I try to make a lot of the stuff. For years, I spent, dragging tools to the construction site, setting up this, setting up that, getting this, and it's a pain in the ass when it's not your own work. So I try to build everything as big as I can, as finished as I can down in the shop with like, the precise, tools that I have down there.
Yeah.
I try to bring it to the site and then install it and do all the edging.
Adjust it and stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Way cool.
Right on, man.
What's a PCS?
Permanent change of station.
Permanent change of station.
Permanent change of station.
Permanent change of station. That's what I thought.
Yeah, we all said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Army stuff, I actually got a phone call back today from the organization that I'm going through to do all my VA claim stuff. I dropped my stuff off a week ago, I think. The lady called me today and she's like, hey, when can you come back in and, give us the rest of the paperwork? So I'm going up there on Monday. We're going to finalize everything. They'll hand me my packet and it'll all be ready to send next month. So
to the VA? To the VA?
Yeah. I'm trying to get my stuff in like right at 6 months out. Like that's my goal, just so I have the best chance of all that stuff starting when I'm done. But that was a good call today for sure.
Nice.
Wow. Are you retiring?
Hold on, let me take a drink.
That's for you, Gary. That's for you, Gary.
Oh, you know what else I got today, Sedge? Or yesterday. Let me. Have we talked about this like officially on the podcast about the internship?
No.
Yeah.
Have we?
We have.
Yeah. I mean, like you said it like in passing
around the bush.
You haven't like been detailed about it.
So I've mentioned it in my stories recently, and just very casually, kind of the same way. I've been very quiet about it because I wanted everything to go through. And people are just like, wait, what? I feel like you just breezed over that. So I will be doing an internship with Festool from November, or for the month of November and December. And basically the reason I'm doing that is because the Army offers a internship, type program that you can find a company and you can intern with them. So if you are in the military and you're listening to this, you're close to retirement, definitely check that out because the possibilities are pretty much endless on what you can do. But it was a very long process. I started this months ago, and Festool had my paperwork for a while, which I actually planned on that they would have it for a while because I'm sure that there's a lot of, legal things that they have to do on their end. And I got it back, sent it through my chain of command. That took quite a bit longer than I had expected. And I finally ended up getting it back. And I went to go send it back to the lady that I didn't tell you this yet, Sedge. I sent it back to the lady she is the regional coordinator for this program.
Yeah.
I sent it back to her on the 30th of September. Didn't receive an email back. So about 10 days goes by and I send an email. And guess what I get when I send the email? I get an automatic response from her saying her last day as the coordinator was the 30th. So nothing had happened with my packet. And then there was a link in her email, and that link, it didn't work. You'd click on it, it would never load the page. So I'm freaking out because I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't have an approved packet, from them. I have it approved from my chain of command, but, from what I understand, it obviously has to be approved by the Army. So then they know that I'm doing this. So I'm trying to call like the transition assistance office at Fort Knox. Can't get a hold of anybody. No one's answering. None of the phone numbers are working. The websites weren't working at that time that I was looking for some reason. So finally I got this idea. I'm like, well, why don't I just call the number on her original email? So I did. And she had a voicemail set up and it's like, contact this person. So I contact that person, send her my packet. The very next day, she's like, I have it. I've submitted it for approval. The very next day I got it back.
Oh, cool.
So it's officially done. Everything is good to go. And here in a couple of weeks, I will.
Ooh, man, because I need a coffee. Intern?
Yeah, really bad.
Could you go down to Donkey and I like 4 cream, 2 Splenda in my cold brew, please? Thank you.
You will not use that term around me in that building, or I will file a complaint.
Whatever, intern.
Yeah. Intern, come sweep this dust up.
He touched me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So
Everybody's really excited.
Good to go.
Everybody's really excited to have you working with us.
Well, I'm bummed out. I gotta be honest with you. I'm bummed out.
Why?
I'm gonna be there for 1, 2. I'm gonna be there for 3 days, and you're not gonna be there.
Well, the situation is I've talked with our supervisor, and she said, "Oh yeah, he'll probably have an orientation with HR."
Can't wait.
Sounds miserable.
Sucker.
I figured. I assumed that you would have like some cleaning wipes or something waiting for me so I could wipe down each one of your sustainers on that sustainer individually.
No. There's going to be plenty for you to do until I get back.
Yeah.
No, you probably won't even work with me. They'll be doing all kinds of other stuff.
Oh no, not you know where I'll be anytime I have the opportunity.
Well, because of the hybrid schedule, I'm there every day, and you can always come and hang with me on those days.
That's what I'm saying. I plan on being up there. Like, so here, this is the biggest thing that I would love to walk away from that from. Not only like seeing the other side of a company that we all love, but I want to be an expert on all of the tools. You know what I mean? I want to know everything there is to know about a Capex. I want to know everything there is to know about the track saw, the Domino, the OF 1400, the MFK. I want to know all of it. Like,
hey, Mike,
what it's truly capable of.
Hey, Mike, does this sound like he wants my freaking job?
I'm kind of wondering that. I mean, you were asking for a discount for it. I'm like, what else do you need?
Yeah. Sounds like you're like
Anything
aiming
you
to get
don't
my
have
job, dude.
No, I don't care. But he asked. He said the discount code. I said I'm not in the market for anything.
You want to intern?
Unless, no, I don't. There's very few things. I do want to upgrade to the 6-inch Rotex so I can sell Ben my 5-inch for
Man,
$1,000.
I already have a Rotex now.
I just threw a bunch of those away.
Ah,
The dumpster.
Freaking
Yeah.
hit it the dumpster.
You took too long, man. I needed one.
No, we got
well,
some.
you know, you never talked to me anymore ever since you met Jen. So how did I know? I would have sold it to you months ago.
Oh, excuse me for having a life now.
Yeah,
Bitter party
Ben
of one.
goes and he finds somebody that he loves. Lame. And then he completely stops talking to his best pal. Even more lame.
He quits calling me crying on the phone every night, saying how lonely he is.
He struck.
I know,
He's.
I have like
He-
nobody to complain to anymore. It's really irritating. Maybe that's what's destroying our marriage is I'm treating my wife like Ben.
Jason's just bitter that he hasn't got his plans yet from Ben.
Oh no, I'm telling you, I have had zero success when it comes to plans. I still don't have somebody. I thought I had a local guy. God.
Well, he still
Remember-
makes a sale at least once a week. I get an email saying that Jason made a sale. I was like, still making money.
Yeah, well, on the website it's slowed down quite a bit. For some reason lately Etsy's been picking up, but I still like I thought I found a local guy that was going to do it. Super awesome guy. We talked a bunch, but I just think he's super busy as well. And just, you know, it's like a side thing that he's doing. He just doesn't have the time for it. But he's had the stuff for my my bed that I made Leo, which would be a great set of plans. And I don't harp on him for it because I get it, man. He's got young kids just like I do. And he'll write me every once in a while, be like, yeah, I should get to work. And I'm like, yeah, at this point, I'm just like, it's totally fine, man.
I think what you ought to do, Jason, is just have just a whole bunch of plans on the website, like pictures of plans. And when people buy them, you just send them a sandwich and it says, hey, I know you didn't get a plan, but here's a sandwich.
Here's a turkey sandwich.
Totally win situation.
And it's boar's head turkey. So it's really good.
You know it's bougie.
Yeah. I don't skimp on my lunch meats. All right.
That's cool, man.
I like how all the jokes are starting to come back out. So that was like from one of the first episodes of the podcast was like Jason talking about how Ben's never going to send him his plans. And then like the Fez tool, the Fez tool dumpster that, you know, Sedge is up there throwing all his
Yeah.
You know,
Stuff off the
all about what
mezzanine.
Ben wants.
it took about 25 episodes for me to just get callous towards that joke. And so now when Sedge says it, I'm like, you know, whatever.
I still haven't seen
Go
the
ahead.
thong,
Go
though.
ahead, Sedge. Throw it away. Throw it away.
Throw it away.
The Fez tool thong still hasn't made an appearance yet.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, jeez.
God.
Oh, there is something else that I did on Monday night. I was on a live stream on YouTube.
I saw that.
Like on your channel or someone else's channel?
Someone else's channel. RT Branham is his name. His IG handle is Married Man Woodworking, if I remember correctly.
He does the YouTube interview show.
YouTube woodworking YouTubers.
Yeah.
He asked me, great guy. He's had a lot of like really big. I mean, everybody you can think of has been on there. It seemed
Even
like
non-woodworking, he's had I forget the channel name,
What
but it's
What were you doing on there?
I don't know. I think he was confused that I would like actually did woodworking instead of just having a show shop. No, it was fun though. Really good dude. Some good questions in there. We talked a lot about on the social media side of things, I think, because that's kind of what a lot of people are interested in on that, like their take on like how they got into YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So that was good. Talked about sponsorship stuff, and it was good.
How long did it last?
Just over an hour. I told him, I was like, hey, I'm kind of limited on time just because of my kids, but I'm going to be on another one here soon, an IG live stream with Ed Mancini and all his buddies. I can't Sawdust Talk, I think it's called.
Yeah.
That one's coming in a couple of weeks.
So that's like always been, just to kind of like go back to Key and you guys, like I don't like this is like my first time being online. Like I don't know if you guys know Lee Oman, Regal Street wood shop. He's always like, you just got to do it. You just got to like, just start and do it. And it's never been like my thing, is like the social media part of it, but the community of like, you know, woodworking. And, you know, you kind of talked about it earlier, Jason, about videos that go towards, you know, instructional content on different types of machinery, right? And I'm sure, you know, Sedge can equate to this back when, like, you know, Abraham Lincoln was around, that like people just know.
Oh, even you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Let me just grab my freaking ankles, Mike. Jeez.
Oh my God.
Fucking A.
But like, so if you get
Jesus,
someone,
aged rice potatoes, the whole fist.
just the podcast still happens. Just because the three of you guys are on here talking doesn't mean that we at home aren't interacting and like, I remember that one. I'll put that in the bank for later. But you're talking about like the hammer, right? Like you got to go to the hammer and you have to put it together yourself. And like, if you go back 10, 15 years, like master craftsmen, they just knew how to do it because they were taught that way by you know, they apprenticed to learn how to do these things. And I feel like in today's space, so many guys are like, you know, working in corporate America, and they're like, I can't stand the grind of Monday through Friday being in the office, and, you know, this, that, like my only time to go like relax is to like get down into the shop. And I personally have taken a huge chunk of that away from people in the content that they've put out, just in the things that I've done down in my shop. I remember early on in the podcast, I would always like bug you guys about like, you know, gauging things and accuracy, and you guys were always just like, no, like if something's screwed up, like,
yeah, who are we, Patrick?
Yeah, but like
We're not psycho.
We're not making mouse pads.
I got a new bandsaw last week, and it just so happens that like right along the time I got a new bandsaw, Sedge had content out there around, you know, the bandsaw. I tried for a bit, you know, to do the shaper thing with Ben. Just, I'm not that advanced. It's too much.
Shaper's easy, man.
I know, but like,
Well,
the CNC's been a lot easier to learn. Now Vectric's still a pain in the ass, and I would like to find like a in-person class, but
I haven't tried it yet. It's not Shaper Set. It's
Shaper Studios.
Shaper
there you go,
Studio.
Shaper Studios. It just
used
came
to
out
be
yesterday.
Used to be Shaper Labs.
Yeah, it just came out yesterday. I haven't been able to try it out yet or look at it, but I would be hard pressed to think that it probably makes things a lot of the guys in our volley are saying good things about it.
Sean whipped out his cell phone at IWF next to me. We were I can't remember what we were talking. I think we were talking about like Vectric and using the CNC and that kind of stuff. And he had asked me if I had heard of their new software coming out. He pulls his phone out and on his cell phone, like designs this. I mean, it was very rudimentary, very quick, but seeing how fast and how easy it was for him to do that, I was blown away. I was like, holy cow, that's impressive. And you're doing it on your phone.
Yeah. I mean, just the amount of things that you can do on the shaper itself. You know, like when I did my helmet rack a few days ago, when I had to drill out the holes for the actual helmet hooks, I didn't have to use a computer, laptop, tablet, anything. I just did everything inside shaper, like inside the actual device. And like, you can't do that with a CNC. You have to have a laptop. A CNC, and correct me if I'm wrong, a CNC is useless without a laptop.
Correct.
Right?
A computer. Yeah.
You have to get the
G
G
or
you have to make the file.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with shaper, I mean, granted, you are limited a little bit, but you can make box joints without a laptop on the shaper. You know, you can't do that with a CNC.
All this talk about the shaper and plate and all this hype about it. It is getting towards the end of the year. So maybe I'll have to buy one and let it sit in the sustainer for 9 months.
I was talking to Keith Johnson earlier this week, and I was telling him he had to reach out to you. I still haven't seen any LaMelo content.
I did some stories with Patrick. I took it out. We made some test cuts with it, and it's a really nice machine. Like, I won't deny that at all, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I don't see myself needing it. That was a stupid purchase.
I use that a lot doing back in like on the carpentry side, the finish side of the house. All of our face frames we would put in with that.
Yeah, I mean, I see that would be amazing for that, but like, again, for me, I just don't see. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah, I would love to make content about it. That was the biggest reason I got it, to be honest with you, because it's a popular tool and it's awesome and does a really cool thing. And why not get one and make some content about it? And I might still do that, but I just don't think I'm going to keep it. That's why I was saying I need a write off, for the end of the year. So I might as well buy a shaper and then I can just let it sit until like next September. You know what I mean?
Do your next project and put something together with it and see what happens. Cause that's one of those things that could go outside of just the woodworking community. You do a video on an instructional video on the LaMelo, and then it starts taking off in like the carpentry, workforce side of the house.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I actually planned on using the LaMelo biscuit joiner for this. I was going to swap the blade on my table I'm talking about. Instead of using dominoes, I was like, you know what? I did get the biscuit joiner blade and I have like 1,000 biscuits. Like I got like a whole box for free. It was some special they were running. And Keith was like, oh, I'll be able to get you a whole box of biscuits. I'm like, okay. So I have this huge box of biscuits and I didn't even use it for that because I hadn't changed the blade out yet. And it was all in the box. I was like, screw it. I'm just going to grab my domino. And I just went down and dominoed everything, threw it all together. Tabletop came out perfect. So
I think that's some of the joy of the craft, though. You know what I mean? Being able to look at a project and know that you have 5, 6, 7 different ways to put something together. And it's just a matter of what you want for your look, what you want for your finish, or you just want to try something new that you never tried before.
Yeah. I like what Mike is doing right now. Mike Coffey. So he was doing a project. What?
His desk that he just finished.
Yeah, he did one with the shaper, one project using only the shaper for all the joinery.
That thing looks so awesome.
Yeah, it's nice. And then he did the chair using the Panto router. All the joinery was with the Panto. I think that's a great idea. I'm like, man, that's a really good idea that like showcases just how, and I'm sure that there's, some sort of thing there social media wise, right? For the reason for doing that, but it forces you to learn the machine and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it truly shows what it's capable of. And then, like I can do this with this machine. And both are very cool, right? Both projects were very cool. So I thought that was really quite like a really good idea on his part to do that.
I don't know if Mike listens to the podcast, and I commented on his post, but
sometimes.
It was such a nice table, or it is such a nice table. And I know he said that like some things didn't really go the way that he planned, but like, I mean, that little cable management slot that he put at the very back of the desk, he worked a grommet into that. And then he cut the grommet out of another species and then inlaid that in the little slots and then another one inside of that. I was like, man, this looks so, like I wanted to make it whenever I saw the post.
Do it.
I may at some point, but man, that thing looks so good.
It's about to be too cold to ride your motorcycle anyway. You'll have plenty of time.
Well, I was thinking today, because there are a lot of customizations that I want to do to it. And I'm waiting to hear back from the old VP of engineering at Harley Davidson. I sent him a message a few days ago. He responded back. They did 2 special live wire motorcycles that were off road for a show, and so I asked him if he could share with me like what they changed. That way I could do it. And so I have a dealer in DC that they said that they would be willing to try it, but it hasn't really materialized anywhere yet. They're like, well, we don't know if things are going to fit. We can't order stuff, and if it doesn't fit, it's just like. So I think I may just try to do it myself. So that may be like my non-riding season project, is to kind of modify my motorcycle. But I'm waiting to hear back from this former VP of engineering, see what he says.
Did you get that piece of metal back yet?
For the skid plate?
Yeah, remember you said you didn't order the second part because you were waiting for something to come in so you could.
Yeah,
oh, the 3D scanner thing.
Yeah, yeah. So I got the 3D scanner in, and I'm waiting for the skid plate to come in. It got shipped already. I think it got shipped yesterday, or the day before. I think it comes in Friday. So I'm waiting for that to come in. I'll mount it, and then I'll use the 3D scanner to scan the rest of it, and then I'll 3D CAD the other components for it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, dude, like technology, man, today. Like what a time we're living in.
It's pretty.
I can make something in CAD and then send it to someone else to make, and then they ship it to me. Like, that's the coolest thing.
It is cool.
So when we used to do,
it is cool.
You know, rough carpentry would be done. We'd leave the room for the drywallers. They'd come in and do all the drywall and board everything up. You know, always you go back, you're like, oh, we got to look for that. We got to find this thing. And you're like, I think it's over here. You're looking at the plans. You're like, all right, I think it's there. And then we're like hacking holes in the drywall. So like today you drop this camera into the middle of the room. It does a panoramic 360 view of the entire room. And then you just go back to it and you look at it and you're like, oh, it's right there. It's crazy how technology is.
When we were building, you know, the wing I'm in at Festool, Jason, you know, that 2-story, Pat. Well, when they were building it, I knew that whole first floor was going to be the training center. So when I went in there and through the whole build of it, that was the second phase. I took about as it was being built, about roughly 400 pictures of that wing. So when it's kind of funny, Mike, you said that because somebody the other day said, hey, we're going to look at this wall. We might have to open it up to look first. I go, you want to see a picture of it? What's in there?
Yeah.
And when I did, I built out the utility room where we have the sink. Minnie wanted some storage. So I put a countertop in there and I went and looked there just to see what was behind the wall. It was kind of neat. I had pictures of freaking everything. It was pretty neat.
And that's like all just a change in the times. You know, I can remember probably being 17, 18 years old up on a roof with my dad, nail apron on, lumping the shingles up the roof all day, you know, the pouch, hand nailing all of the shingles down to the roof. And I'm like, Dad, like, you know, they make these things called air compressors and they have like coil nailers and we can like shoot them on. And he was like, but Jesus, what's that shite? And I was like, a week and a half later, he had the compressor, the nail gun. He's like, oh, this is fine. This is grand. And I was just like, it's crazy how technology, you know, changes. Like the things that we're going to think of, like we're going to be sitting here in 10, 15 years, or as says in 2025. And we're going to be like, wow, but it's just cool to be here for the ride. You know what I mean? To watch.
That's like goes back to the conversation of IWF and like what we think the next big thing is going to be. And you just made that comment. And in like 10 or 15 years, someone's going to be having a podcast be like, yeah, it's so weird watching people like actually build their own stuff. Like, why would you not?
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't have robots in their shop? I don't finish my own stuff. I have a machine that does that.
What
it's
are
like
we, primitive cavemen?
Yeah.
Jesus. What the hell are they thinking?
They mill their own lumber? Gross. Oh, it's like their disdain for regular woodworking is like me with hand tools.
They don't 3D print their own walnut? Come on.
Losers. I don't have to worry about any movement.
Yeah, they're gonna be able to put, you know, rough lumber in. It's gonna come out plain milled all up and the moisture.
Yeah,
content
like
is
ready
gonna be,
for
like,
finish on it. Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Hey,
You don't even have to sand it.
if that really happens, do you think that we'll still have premium pine?
Of course. That's never going away. It's beautiful stuff.
Someone
Beautiful
needs to do
stuff.
someone needs to do their rustic design on the back of their
Hey, look,
kitchen.
America's built on premium pine. Okay.
All right. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Premium prime, baby.
But no, like
What
just
was
like my kids, they're into all different kinds of stuff. My middle one, she's kind of like the only one that is into crafting and making things and stuff like that. Dude, if all of the toys that I have now, if those were available when I was a kid, like that would have been the coolest thing ever.
Yep.
It's like you're just talking, Mike, about being up on a roof, nailing shingles one by one. I remember just like struggling to put a tree house together. Like I built, okay, when I was in like, I don't know, 7th grade, I tried to build a half pipe, right? Out of wood. This is what it looked like.
Thought you had
Yeah.
a picture.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like the wheels. I'm sure the wheels would just go right over that. Yeah. Yeah.
They did. It was a total
a half
pipe.
V. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Somebody-
like, I didn't know what I was doing. I had an idea. I was like, man, I really want to build this. Obviously, don't have the skill set or the tools to make it. I mean, not that a shaper can make a half pipe.
Dude,
But-
yeah. You built a half pipe, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my
Or
brother Mac,
attempted.
myself, Mac Kennegiza, and Tim Warren. My dad got us a bunch of plywood, and we went to town, and that's when I started to learn how to lay out axe and swing out a trammel. I think I was 13 or 14. No, I was 12. And we had this unbelievable half pipe in our backyard, and we had a couple specifications. It had to sit a certain area on the driveway. It couldn't be any bigger, but we had on either side, we had 4 feet of vertical. It was unbelievable. I'm going to try to find the pictures I have of it. It was pretty awesome, man. We used to catch air off the vert. It was awesome. Yeah. And
Don't talk about that in front of Leo, or else he's gonna want me to make a half pipe, and he's gonna
dude.
break
There's
his
nothing
leg.
better. Oh my God, we had so much fun. Even when I hurt my hip, and I was in a wheelchair for about 3 months. And my parents caught me on the half pipe in the wheelchair. They were freaking pissed. They're going, "Get off!" My mother was freaking. She was a nurse. "You're gonna bust your hip again." Yeah, but yeah.
80%.
I don't care. That was my
that-
life back then. It was skating. I skated
that
all
story-
through high school, man.
When I was at a Fort Polk, back when I was really into motorcycles, Ben.
You mean Satan's asshole? That's what Fort Polk is.
Yeah, no, I liked Fort Polk. That's back when I was really into street bikes, and I like to do like stunt riding and stuff. I had this buddy of mine which is what led me to getting arrested that one time, and that's a whole nother story. But I ended up breaking my ankle and my foot on doing dumb motorcycle stuff. And while I was in my cast, I remember we used to go to these parking lots and like practice and stuff, right? And we had this tiny little 4-wheeler, and I was in my cast, and I would go out with him just because I had to be with the group and everything. And I would be riding this little tiny 4-wheeler around doing wheelies, like using my heel to touch the brake so I didn't go all the way back. And then after a while, I was like riding my buddy's motorcycle doing the same stupid crap. God, I pray Leo does not do the things that I did when
It's
I was
gonna
growing
come
up.
back tenfold,
Yeah.
man. It
Oh,
always
yeah.
does.
I was like 24 when I was doing this. That's how bad this seems. Oh, what an
I have
idiot.
it bent.
God.
running from the cops.
Yep. Running from the cops, got arrested. We should talk about that one of these days.
Oh, being arrested.
Yeah, I got I got arrested.
I've been there.
I'm a felon.
I've been there.
Oh, we should talk about our arrested stories.
Yeah, look at Lydon. I've been there.
Yeah, Ben might be the only one that hasn't been arrested.
Where were you when the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004? I know where I was.
Dude. My wife, we're down. I got to tell you, man. That's one of the greatest times. My best friend growing up, Mike Goulet, we call him Goo, and he's just this really successful guy, and he comes down for the last game. And my wife, we were crying, high-fiving, and the kids are upstairs and we're drinking. And she comes down and she says, "What happened?" And Goose says, "Hell freaking froze over." And she goes, "I've never seen two adult males in their underwear, drunk as you guys were." That was one of the greatest nights of my life in 2004, baby, right? Yep.
Did he?
Oh yeah.
Did he mention that there was baseball on?
Dude, it was so awesome. Oh my God, we had such a good time. Where were you, Lido? Jail?
Yeah, so I was doing the math in my head. It actually wasn't 2004. 2004 was the first time they won.
Yeah,
it was 2007.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I'm like putting it all together. So a part of like a whole thing that I was going to get into that you guys don't know about me is that when I was overseas, I was there 05, 06 in Iraq, pretty rough time, to be there. And when I came back to Boston, like the opiate epidemic was kind of like taking over, alcohol. So from like when I got back in like the end of 06, 07, 08, 09, like some really, really, you guys have talked about this on the podcast before, some really dark times in my life. So I was going to a party and, needless to say, I met a girl, went back to her dorm room. I did some stuff on the way there that I probably shouldn't have done. And I drove away. And then all of a sudden I was in my car.
You used a Ryobi. It's okay.
I did use
It's okay.
I did.
We've all done it.
Yeah.
So
Right, Bobby.
I get the knock at the window of my car. Block 23 pointed in my face. Which
Been there.
For lack of like a better thing, that's kind of the one thing that was kind of like eye-opening to me and kind of set me on the path that like I'm on now. Obviously, like I don't, you guys got your White Claws. I'm a water guy.
Hey. Yeah. Not all of us. Some of us have a real beer.
You got Michelob?
Michelob Ultra.
Look at this beer. LaCroix.
My wife likes that.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
But that again, like, and now, it's almost 10 years now. I had a little slip there for a while, but it's been almost 10 years now. I haven't had a drink, none of that. And being able to be on like the other side of that, especially as like, Ben and Jason could speak to it, like people in the military, man, like it's a rough go. I mean, out of the company that I deployed to Iraq with, I think we probably had 5 or 6 suicides. In the following years, like we first got back, guys were just reckless. I was driving around on a Suzuki 900, drunk half the time. I could have killed myself, things like that. So now like a husband, a father, like a civilized human again, it's cool to be on the other side of it.
Well, especially that window you're talking about, like 06 to 09, probably somewhere around there. This wasn't good. It was bad, right? Guys came back and did some crazy stuff.
Yeah. And like kind of my dream was always to get on to like the fire department. But every time like I would get the letter in the mail to like, hey, you can come down and like try out for it. I was like, yeah, if I do this now, it's gonna be a headline. Boston firefighter, whatever. On the front page of the Globe. So like I waited till, the time was right. And like, as much trash as people talk about the VA and like, the services the VA offers, like sometimes it might not be the best, but like they saved my life. Like I 100% for a fact would not be sitting here tonight talking to you guys if it wasn't for them. And, I obviously had some work and some things to do on the side of that. But like, for me, like that's like what, like channeling some of that stuff into woodworking has been the part of the joy for me, right? Crafting and being able to go with an idea in my head and then like transposing it onto like a material such as like wood or whatever, and then coming up with like a finished product. Like watching Ben the other day with his helmet mount, like he talked about, I came up with this concept in my head. I 3D printed these hooks. I, took this board and I'm going to shape it and this is what I'm going to do to it. And like being able to like come up with that idea and then turning it into something tangible, I think is huge.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking about it.
It's an outlet, man. It's somewhere for you to put your energy into, and it's you have something tangible left over, something that you can kind of look at with a little bit of pride, and it's certainly a relaxing outlet for most people. I just like the creative aspect of it. That's the thing that I love the most about it. Is just, okay, I have this idea, I can see it in my head, now I want to make it.
Well, I mean, I think like that, whatever, what happened to you, it's a blessing. And I always tell people this, like people learn two ways. It's through pain and suffering and misery, right? People bond and learn in these two ways, or it's through money, right? That's what I've always like. It's something cost you very heavily monetarily, or you had a significant event that caused you pain, misery, suffering, or a combination of the both, right? And those are the things that can usually change people's lives and turn it around, right? Everything else is, a lot of times is just kind of like, small things. But whether it's a bad incident, whether it's a bad decision, it's going to cause you some sort of pain, whether that's emotional pain, whether that's physical pain. Those are the things they're going to teach you. Like I'll tell you right now, when I got arrested, that completely that totally changed me. And I was a straight shooter for the most part, but I made a bad decision. I'll tell you, I never rode a motorcycle the same way again, ever. I actually sold my motorcycle immediately after that event. And then it wasn't until years later when I came back to the States after Germany that I was like, felt like I was older and more responsible, more mature, where I could get a motorcycle again and not be an idiot on it. But that one event, I mean, never again, you know what I mean? And that I wouldn't say it caused me so much pain, but I'll tell you, I learned a hard lesson monetarily.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing cost me a lot of money and a lot of money that I didn't have. So,
and time.
Yeah.
It was a lot of wasted time too.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Ben, what do you say? I've got to head up and get Leo down here in about 15 minutes or so.
You gotta put him in the freezer.
Yeah, I got to put him in the freezer for the night. Why don't we get Hans on here? Because man, do I have some good comments tonight.
Nice.
It's time for your favorite segment called Get the Bend.
Yeah. I feel like we've gotten away from Hans. I feel like you're letting that review negatively affect you.
Definitely not.
Because we haven't had like Hans on here. Like Hans doesn't even do the ads anymore.
Oh
like,
man,
Hans, I feel like, is he on vacation? Is he sick?
Hans,
does he have COVID?
Does he have the
COVID?
He has gone back to the fatherland. His nana, she came down with the gonorrhea, and he has been taking care of her dressings and the pills, and he has to put them in the insides, and so it's a lot for him to do this.
What about the children?
The children?
The children. Remember when you did it? You were talking about the children, and you were like,
"Das Kindes."
Yeah.
Das Kindes.
The Hund and the Kindes.
I like the Panzerbrats. They just exploded your mouth.
Yeah. All right. So I have a total of 5. I actually, before the podcast started, I've been so bad about responding to comments on YouTube lately, to the point where I'm just not really doing it anymore. But I went through and I took screenshots, so I have them ready to go.
Yeah.
Let's get started.
I've got one.
Do you want to do yours first?
Yes, because it's.
Okay.
I read this and I was just like, what?
Ben has one?
So this is the recent motorcycle video that I posted. This is on an online forum. I just shared the link. And this guy says, "Great that you post vids. Unfortunately, I rarely have time to watch them. I usually like content that I can read through a very quick pace. So while it might be interesting, if I have to watch it, I almost never will have time to do so. The problem with videos is you have to go at the pace of the video, and I typically can't consume content much rapidly than when it's delivered in a video." It's like,
What?
why would you
What?
need to share that? Like,
It's like the last human on earth. It's like, I would much rather read an article about this than watch this video.
I would, you know what? Look, there's 24 hours in the day. I don't have time to watch a 14-minute video. Okay. I have too many other things going on. I've got shuffleboard at 3. I've got knitting class at 4:30. I have to take my hip medication at 6. That makes me really tired. I just don't have the time, man.
I have to watch reruns of Golden Girls. Oh man, some people. God bless them though, because they give us this segment.
Trolls.
Okay. My first one is from the cast iron, stop cast iron rust, the carbon method. This person says, "LOL, it's a table saw, not a Ferrari."
Wait, do that again.
You said it's a table saw, not a Ferrari. Like, why am I putting that stuff on there? Because I treat my table saw so well.
Actually, I have another.
This one was from my finish comparison video. This person says, "You used Rubio walnut color on walnut wood. Of course it didn't look much different. Use walnut color on a lighter wood, and then I think you'll start to understand how color tinting works."
You used watercolor dye in your glass of water. That's why it didn't taste like anything. Because you used water flavoring.
I'm fairly confident that in the video, I even said the reason why I was using walnut on walnut is because it helps keep the walnut dark as opposed to the orange tint that pure does. And it also helps balance out the sapwood. But he must have just not listened. He must have just stopped the video and made his comment, I'm going to tell this guy what I'm doing. All right. So this is interesting. For the first time in forever, posted to the community tab, much like you would do on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. You can actually post on a community tab in YouTube and people can look at it and thumbs up and all that stuff, right? Well, I did it to talk about the live that I was going to be on. On that comment, I was like, join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time for the live with whatever. Here's a link. This person comments, "After his bogus review of the Harvey bandsaw, I've stopped watching his videos and distorted reviews." There's another comment from that post. There was 3 comments.
What a DB.
Yeah.
Wait, is that the unboxing video? And someone was like, "This is so dishonest."
This is dishonest unboxing. It was the one where I was assembling it and then giving my initial thoughts of the machine, showing what it does. It wasn't like a review. I literally just put the damn thing together. The other comment that was on there said something like, "He's been a sellout since the beginning."
Wow.
And I'm like, I didn't even know that you could comment or on those and it would show up on your comments. All right, I'm going to save the best one for last. But this one says, "This is from my installing full extension drawer slides, old video." He said, "Okay, info, had a nap halfway through the video. I've other videos you have done and they were better. Sorry."
Sounds like he kept napping.
Yeah. Okay. This is the one,
hang on,
Ben,
honey,
that I wanted.
it's time for my mid-video nap. Hang on.
Ben, this is the one that I wanted to share last week before your dryer caught on fire. So I didn't read one last week because I specifically wanted to save this one for you. This is on my install a Mr. Cool ductless mini split in a few hours video. This person, and when I enunciate a word, it's because he used all caps, just to make that clear.
Okay.
This is the comment. There's a special rung in hell reserved for traitors, deserters, and people who install mini splits without vacuuming the line set first. I'm not done. This little mistake will cost you a lot down the road in terms of lost efficiency, scope, degradation, as well as compressor lifespan. Never do this without vacuuming first. Never let the refrigerant without vacuuming. Never.
Did he leave a link to his how he installs them and how he does it?
And
Oh,
and
no,
does he
of course
know
not.
it all came preloaded?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Doesn't the Mr. Cool come already done like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd be shocked. Like if you ever want to laugh, like go through and look at some of the comments on that video because so many people are just blown away. And they're all AC installers, every single one of them.
Do you know what? Do you know why they're? Do you know why those comments are on there? Is because you are showing people how
Putting
to
them
do it
Putting them out of
themselves,
business.
and they are pissed because that is the way to go. It's all preloaded. You don't have to get reamed by them.
I had a realization the other day, and I finally realized the reason why people leave negative comments is because they, instead of them doing the content themselves to help people, that's their way that's easier to get their opinion heard, is to shit on people who take the time to do it. I've thought about that the other day. I'm like, makes sense. They're such experts. They'll always tell you how much of an expert they are. They're such experts, but instead of them creating the content so that that bad information isn't out there, they'll just shit on you because it's easier.
Well, look,
Right.
Jason, when you're a busy professional, you don't have time to make YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, true.
And the only thing that you have time for is either not watching videos, making sure that people you
And
comment on
not
people's
commenting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 Not commenting on
those-
those. Yeah. Because you have better things to do.
Those
you're a
folks
professional.
would be called keyboard cowards.
Adam,
The thing with those
Adam
people-
Fuller, one of our patrons, he actually responded to one of those comments on my community post. He actually responded to the guy that was like, he's been a sellout since the beginning or whatever. And I'm like, what? I love this. Like probably the least influenced through sponsorship YouTube channel of my size. And I still get people who say I'm a sellout.
The thing that drives me nuts about those people
Thanks, world.
is like, he's been a sellout since the beginning. So you leave like these, hateful comments. If I see something online that I don't like, I just keep it moving, move to the next page. It's like,
Yeah.
all this, I've been watching you for all this time, and every video I just hate even more and more. Like, okay, well, thank you for the views. Thank you for keep, watching.
Thanks.
You know what's funny about that? He's still subscribed, or else he would have never seen my community post.
Oh, yeah. It's because he's.
He would have never seen it. It would have never shown up in his feed. So he is. Both of those people are still subscribed, but they hate me so much because I'm just such an a-hole. But just in case I release that one video that actually helps them specifically, then he's not so bad.
Yeah, but they'll still leave a hateful comment. Oh, this was good information, but publicly.
Yeah.
There is a lot of hurting people out there, and it's sad. I'll say it every single time.
I just can't imagine the amount of energy it takes to have that much vitriol. It's got to be exhausting.
Well, I mean, I hate you that much. It's really not that exhausting. It's kind of just a regular way of life.
Ben just said vitriol.
Yeah, big word. And on that note,
man,
hey, Mike, thank you so much for being our first patron guest.
This is your idea, man.
that's phenomenal, man.
We'll never do it again because this was an epic
it for
fail.
everybody.
And never again will I allow.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Man, I haven't had this much fun since Abe and I hung out and smoked some
Since
cigars.
my vasectomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a great idea. And
I do
think
too.
it
I
kinda
like it.
stemmed from like the beers with the boys, right? Because we all get on there and kind of shoot the breeze and chit chat, but like we don't actually like get to know people. So like I think going down the line, having like some of the patrons come on and spending an episode just getting to know them, shoot the breeze with them. But then again, like it's great to have like, you know, uh, a page where you have like the Wood Whisperer and Coffee and KJ Sawdust and like all these like big name guys that like have a following and have a presence online. But there's guys out there, just normal guys, and there's a ton of them that are green suiters that like maybe don't have that following or don't have that that grasp on social media,
Right.
but they're still great people. So
Like
I think
Jason
it's
Dunn.
a good idea. Yeah.
He's got a
Oh,
following.
I'd just like to say before we close this out, when we were getting our passports today, I was with my wife and we were walking out to the parking lot, and some guy opens up his door and he goes, "Hey, Benz." And I turn around, I was like, "What?" And my wife goes, "Oh my God."
It's
was like-
happening. It's
I was like-
happening.
I was like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "Oh man, I follow you on Instagram. I love your stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, cool, man." He's like, "I didn't know you lived here." I'm like, "Yeah, I live in Avon." And he was like, "Man, small world, man, awesome." And I looked
I'm
at
gonna
Nicole and
follow
I was
you
like,
home and murder your family.
America.
like,
America.
kind of a big deal. Can you get the door for me?
That's all Jason needed.
Oh, good
Hey,
times.
do you hear
All right,
that, honey?
yeah.
Fans, honey. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of a big
All right,
deal.
I gotta go. I gotta go put my
All
boy
right.
down.
All right.
All right. Well, hey, thanks everybody for listening to this episode. Make sure you listen in next week, which is a community episode. If you want to have your question read on there, make sure you go to the greensuiterspodcast.com and fill out the question tab. Please, for the love of God, keep it brief. 2 sentences max. 2 sentences, please. And thanks, Mike, for coming on. Thanks, Mike. Everybody